Detention, a Taiwanese horror game that battles the concepts of innocence being lost, corrupted by adults, freedom being taken away by your country, all to protect the citizens. The worries and wonders of high school students not knowing what to do after, no direction, and the battle of depression. Through this game, we'll follow the psyche of a girl named Ray and how her life crumbles and falls apart due to the events of things she could not have controlled and the events of things she could have controlled. This is Detention. We start off with a kid named Wei in high school falling asleep during a lecture, only to realize that everyone went home for that day due to a typhoon warning. After wandering around for a bit inside the school, we make our way outside and we take a shortcut to the auditorium. That's where we meet a mysterious girl who's falling asleep on a chair. We approach her and wake her up. As she starts to regain conscious, she doesn't seem to know where she is or how she got here. As our conversation gets going, she mentions that she lost her necklace. So, as the good person we are, we help her look for it. Strangely enough, we find her necklace behind a fan, where a dead rat is. Now that may already arise suspicion. Once we give it back to her, we make our way outside to try to leave the school. But that's when the situation gets even worse. There's no way to leave. With no other option, we head back into the school. We chat to try to kill time. That's when we learn her name, Fei Ray Shin, or Ray for short. She's a senior, so our upperclassman. As we discuss solutions to our problem, we remember that the principal's office has a phone in it. Maybe we could call somebody and get help. But as we make our way to the principal's office, the world distorts, and then we fade to black. Now switching over to Ray, as we come to, we see Wei tied up, seemingly dead. With no direction on what to do, we search the auditorium and we find nothing, which leads us to go outside. Here's where we see that the surroundings outside have seemed to change too. There is no more Red River, there's now a shrine, and in that shrine, a key. The key to escaping the auditorium. We take a closer look and it's not only a key back there, there's a note giving us a warning. As we make our way back to the auditorium, we encounter the first entity that the school throws at us, the Lingered. It seems as long as we hold our breath around it and walk with caution, it would not notice us. As we make our way out to the main hall, we had a realization. The whole school has changed. We see boarded up doors with talismans painted all over it, preventing us from going in. So we search for ways and clues to try to get through. As we wander, we hear a phone ringing, thinking maybe that's the authorities calling back from Wei's call from earlier. We make our way in the principal's office to where the phone is ringing. We pick up the phone and hear someone on the other side saying something strange. Somehow, without us uttering our name, they already knew. Now keep this part in mind for later. It's going to be important. We make our way up to the second floor, and the only door that seems to be unlocked is the women's bathroom. In here, we find pliers, but that's not the only thing that we find. We find clues about ourselves. We look further in the bathroom and we find a die. We leave the restroom just to find ourselves face to face with another linger. It seems they've made their way into the school as well. With the pliers, we can now access another part of the building. On this floor, we find another note regarding the linger. We learn that they could be distracted with food offerings. Lucky for us, the nurse's office on this floor has a bowl of rice in it. Rice isn't the only thing we find in here, as we find a key. We unlock the medical storage supply room, and in that room we find acetone, as well as another dye. With the acetone, we should be able to wipe off the talismans on that one door. In here, we find a rusty knife and a bowl. We toss the dice we found into this bowl, and it transforms into teeth with numbers marked on it. With our bowl and our rusty knife, we also find a letter telling us about a ritual where we must bleed the blood of an innocent. And so, with only one other option, we head back to the auditorium. We then make our way to a classroom that has carved symbols in it. We splash the blood on it and try to figure out what we could use these for. We find a door that has a padlock on it with the same symbols that we found. Now on the other side of the hall, we run into a locked door. That's when we hear it. A giant monster that chases us to the end of the hall until we find a door. An ominous room with writing all over the walls. A single table with a single sheet of paper on it. While reading, we're seamlessly transported to Ray's bedroom, her home. She speaks about the worries of her future. What will she do after school? And she worries that she'll end up just like her mother, whatever that means. We go towards the door, and the closer we get, we can hear that her parents are fighting. In an attempt to drown out the noise, she tries her hardest to go to sleep, and she drifts. As she starts to wake, she's now somehow outside. We walk and walk until we find the entrance to a building. Inside, we find a note talking about two entities that act as reapers. Said that when you die, they're the first things that you will see. Not too long after that, we find another note talking about an entity called the Lantern Spirit. And if we should encounter one, we should avert our gaze and be very still. It seems we are not alone in this building. A little further down, we find a set of stairs, and from here, we descend into the basement, seeing what looks like people behind a jail cell kneeling with a bag on their head. As we explore the building, there are various trials that we must face. There is one trial in particular that I want to touch base on, and that is the finding of the hand puppets. The first hand puppet we find is in a room with a piano, with lots of chairs set up, almost like there was a performance. Now, to get the hand puppet in the cage, we must play the piano keys in a specific order in order to unlock it. Once we figure it out, a crowd appears, applauding us as we retrieve our reward. While avoiding the lantern inspectors, we then find a code that we dial into a phone. Once dialed, we hear a voice on the other end, thanking us for our assistance. Then, not too long after, the monster is back, roaming the halls as we cower in the corner. It soon leaves, and what we find is the doll that we needed. We make our way back to the stage and put the puppets on the hands. By doing so, a key drops, the key that we needed in order to escape this place. Now, the reason why I wanted to talk about this particular trial is because throughout the game, even in the beginning, we've seen through notes scattered around the school and scenes that play talking about how some of the teachers at the school used to be military officials and how they've been pushing the agendas of the country and showing a lot of propaganda to the students. Now, keep this in mind as well, as it'll play a huge role later. Once we enter the locked door, we make our way down the hallway where a scene plays, which looks like a flashback. Or maybe it's us remembering. We're sitting with Wei, and looks like we're meeting in secret. The reason why we're meeting in secret is because we're exchanging and discussing books that are banned from the school. Books that could get us in legal trouble. It was all going good until their teacher, Miss Yin, was brought up. Once brought up, Ray was curious about her relationship with Mr. Chang, the counselor. Once Wei gets up to leave, he leaves something behind, a paper list. Upon picking it up, it turns into a gun. Now keep this in mind, everything that we've been seeing so far will make sense at the end of the video. We enter a room full of mirrors, seeing Miss Yui tied up to a chair. We start talking, and turns out Miss Yui has done something to wrong Ray. Something to make Ray mad at her, frustrated. As they talk, Ray starts to cower as her head hurts, and then we see it. Her reflection in the mirror shoots Miss Yui's reflection. When we come to, we're in a dark hallway with a locked door and a radio. We use the radio to tune to a frequency that brings us back to our bedroom. This time, we leave our bedroom, and what we see is our mother crying and our father looking to the distance, seemingly having been drinking. We then enter a room full of pictures with our eyes cut out. But once we turn the lights off, the pictures change. After getting what we needed from our home, we go back to the radio. We change the frequency, which brings us to a whole nother location. As we enter the door, the set piece changes again. We enter a hallway with needles hanging from the ceiling. And in that hallway, we find a paper, an ad for a private investigator, insinuating that either her mother or father were unfaithful to each other. We enter a door, and it leads us into our parents' bedroom, where we can see our mother curled up, crying, while our father lays on his back, trying to sleep. We enter a room, and what awaits us is a clock puzzle. A puzzle we could solve using what we saw earlier, the eerie paintings. Once solved, the clock fills with blood. We then go back to our parents' bedroom, where we find our mother missing with her underwear all over the place. We can only assume that our mother cheated on our father, which caused him to become an alcoholic, destroying this family. We run out of there and head back to the painting room. And in that room, the door that was once locked is now open. We see colors that we've never seen before. As we walk, we see somebody, our counselor, Mr. Chang. Judging from what Mr. Chang has just said, it's no secret by now that something fishy is going on between them. The conversation wraps up, and we head back to the radio. As we tune it, the world changes again. Broken mirrors of all shapes and sizes, representing how shattered our mind is. At the end of the mirrors lies a door. It takes us to what seems like the ticket booth to a movie theater. With no way to enter without a ticket, we head back to look for it. Once we find it, we head back to the movie theaters. As we enter the theater, it explodes in color, like a lively festival. At first, it seems like we're just watching a movie. Nothing wrong with the picture. Then it's revealed that we were watching the movie with Mr. Chang, the counselor. With colors once again exploding, there is no more assumptions being made here. Ray is in love with Mr. Chang, and Mr. Chang has been having inappropriate relations with this child. From here, we then again receive the necklace. The necklace that seems to be a gift from Mr. Chang. As we make our way out of the theater, we come across a man in a hat, signaling to us with his finger to be quiet. We spot a piece of paper on the ground. When picked up, it seems to be a part of a search warrant about our father. Apparently, he was taken away due to a bribery scheme. We make way to our room and see our assignment on the floor. We pick it up and head back towards the halls with the needles. From there, we head outside, and The environment seems strange. We spot a shadowy figure in the background, and as we interact with it, the world starts to shift and change into the counselor's office. Mr. Chang lets Ray know that her progress is going good and that soon she won't be needing him. And just like that, after everything he's done to her, groomed her, made her feel safe with him, he disappears out of nowhere. Once the monster disappears, a counseling record appears. We take it, running through the halls and back to our room, where we see us staring into the mirror. After we vent to ourselves, a door opens and we peek inside. Inside, we hear Miss Yin talking to Mr. Chang. Hearing this, our memories start to piece together and our psyche starts to break, not being able to handle what we just heard. Yes, by now you must have pieced it together. Everything we've seen so far, the clues, the subtle hints, even the creatures we've been seeing, everything points to one thing. We are dead. Thank you so much for clicking and watching the video. If you could subscribe and give the video a like. If not, that's okay. I'm just glad you're here. Like always, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.